Previously on the F1 Road to Glory.
Right, accident report form. Was Avis vehicle on correct side of the road? Yes, I was. Explain how accident occurred. A maniac came the other way.
Next, flat out right-hander, no!
State who, in your opinion, was responsible for the accident. Him! He was mad. Right, onwards.
Onwards indeed. It was a less than satisfactory episode last time out for us at the Prix. Well, it was an absolute disaster, let's be real. Coming away from that one with a double DNF means we've slipped behind McLaren and Aston Martin in the championship. And, yeah, I mean, it's just something we didn't need. It was always maybe coming on the way with how close myself and Charles were that entire race. It also doesn't help when your teammate turns into you like an absolute maniac, as we established there in the intro. But this is the F1 Road to Glory, and much like the AA may come and repair a car on the side of the road, you continue then on your journey, and we have, trust me, a long road ahead of us. I can't even see the end of it. I can't even see the next service station on this road. That's how long it is. But we now move into qualifying then for the next round number 7, the Austrian Grand Prix. Happy hunting ground for the Ferrari team, of course. Oh no, that's right. That's right. The Ferraris were last and second last year here. But this is a new season. This is an all-new car. I mean, we've got a green screen on the back powering this team. And that really means we can make reality whatever we want it to be. We just need to open it up in Photoshop. That's all we need to do. This qualifying lap's been, it's okay, I guess. We were looking strong in Sector 1. Lost a bit of time on the exit in Sector 2. And we're wringing the neck out this car. Going a little bit wide, but we won't talk about that. The FI will turn a blind eye. I mean, we are Ferrari. And across the line then for us. And it's going to be a pretty damn nifty P5, actually. But the worrying thing for Matteo Binotto on the pit wall is going to be that Leclerc is right behind us. I mean, that does kind of show that is where the car is, on the third row, looking pristine. But I'm sure he's going to have the fear seeing his two cars right next to each other once again at the very start of Grand Prix, especially. But today, we really need things to go smoothly for our team. We both need to bounce back. As much as it was maybe obviously a shock and a little bit of laughter here in the aftermath of myself and Charles crashing last episode, it did mean we lost a significant amount of points, especially with Norris and Ricciardo in the McLarens looking very strong around France, really nippy in a straight line, which means they're up into third place, a place we've held quite nicely so far this season. So I want to try and get that back if we can, and we're going to have to see how the race pace is, though. Tyre wear is going to be a factor around here, maybe an early stop to try and get a bit of an undercut. Of course, though, the thing is, ahead of us is a two Mercedes and two Red Bulls. So in reality, it's going to be more a case of defending, which is not too easy in a car that seems to just slurp fuel like anything and has no ERS by the end of lap 1. That's obviously part and parcel of the Road to Glory. You have challenges that we face every single time, little speed bumps if you will, and we're just trying to plow straight on at like 90 miles per hour when you're meant to slow down at 10. But we're just going to continue to plow on with our right foot firmly on the loud pedal as we go to 5 red lights. So this Austrian Grand Prix from the third row of the grid. Lights are out and we're on the way. A lot of smoke there coming off the back end of Sergio Perez, but it's a great start for him. Up into second maybe. Bottas down the inside and the two Mercedes have made contact and it's a Mercedes calamity. We had a civil war last episode with Ferrari. This time we're all caught up into it. Bottas and Hamilton are out. This is absolutely amazing for us. Verstappen and Perez making a 1-2. The full core safety car is out. And it's a 3-4. Would you believe it? For Scuderia Ferrari. What a turn of events here from France to now. And Bottas simply creams into the back of Lewis. Not like that. Into the back of Hamilton. And they're both out of this one. Who would have thought at the Red Bull ring, the two Red Bulls are 1-2. It's almost uncanny. And behind then, an absolutely glorious sight. Ferrari 3-4. Fernando Alonso lofty in P5 in the Alpine car. Let's see who's following on. Then you got Nikita Mazepin. I think that is in the Haas. Yeah, number 9. Someone made it through. I think there was a massive pile-up at turn 1 behind the Mercedes cars. That's allowed Ricciardo, the Williams of Russell, I think that was. No, Latifi, because that is Russell then, lower down the top 10. So both Williams cars, I think, are just about in the top 10 then because of that. And there's also a Haas in there as well. So that really was a bit of a commotion at the entry point, because that's where Hamilton was, stricken right at the racing line, basically. But here we are then on the restart. Thankfully, the engine not overheating behind the back of Sergio Perez, but actually in a strange turn of events, the engine may not be overheating. That also means the front tyres have not got any temperature in them. We get caught out on the restart there as Verstappen bolts early. I don't expect to be fighting the two Red Bulls, but you never know with Sergio Perez still struggling to get used to the Red Bull car in this series and also in real life. So we never know with the race pace. Let's see what we can do, but on the restart, not too great. We're looking behind us rather than forwards, using a bit of ERS on the exit. Leclerc fancies a move, maybe to go defensive to the inside. He's there on our outside, and once again, Matteo going from joy to absolute agony there, maybe for a moment as Leclerc had a look around the outside. Hopefully, we can push away and we don't get a repeat of France where we're a little bit too close for comfort, and that's exactly what's going to happen. We are going to pull away. Lap number 6, and we are actually within 1 second of Sergio Perez. We've dropped Leclerc by 2 seconds, and Perez is struggling for some race pace here. His teammate pulling a 2-second gap, so he's not got DRS to help him defend. We do, and that may just be the difference here today. Kind of sizing up Perez at the moment on lap number 6. DRS open. We're deploying a bit of ERS, but I'm not going to kind of commit to the move quite yet, but you can see we are close enough. If we just save enough ERS and we start deploying it straight off that right-hander, and we're right on it with some rich mix as well, we may be able to make some sort of move on the kind of main first part here, the first DRS straight. Can't quite get close enough on the exit of turn 1, but here, Perez, a bit weak there on the rear end, maybe facing that tyre wear, and we're a lot closer now, and you can see we're very, very close to his rear end there, but we pull out to the left-hand side, the long way round on Sergio Perez. It's going to be close on the exit. Perez has lost the back end. He's made a massive mistake, and we're up into P2. This is an absolute madness of a race here. We've gone from being DNF bar team, absolutely in the mud, to into a fabulous podium position, and we've got still a long way to go, half this race to go, but we are looking supreme here. Everyone's just tripping over themselves there. That was a massive mistake, and I'm actually quite surprised. I've never seen an AI make such a massive rear end wobble mistake at this corner, especially. It just looks like he's facing so much tyre wear that he simply got on the power way too early. He couldn't control that Red Bull of his. Getting used to it still, obviously, in this season. He's unable to even fight us on the exit. Meanwhile, back behind, though, Leclerc is actually not facing the same kind of joy as us, not facing the same kind of race pace, as Fernando Alonso goes through on the outside in the Alpine car to try and overtake him. Daniel Ricciardo is also there, and we've obviously mentioned the McLaren was very good in a straight line around France last time out, and it looks like Ricciardo is feeling very confident here as he tries to go right around the outside of Leclerc. Doesn't quite do it, but Leclerc facing some struggles versus ourselves. I mean, Ferrari can rarely get one car going completely, so 2 is going to be a big push in this race, so we've already taken all the luck, I guess, of the team, and as Ricciardo goes down the inside, that may be very apparent there, as Rick Bobby may be able to get on the exit as the McLaren opens up the rear wing. For the Ferrari, to be fair to it, does have DRS as well. Leclerc did get it off Alonso, but yeah, he's just not got the same sort of pace that we're showing. Big lock up for Ricciardo, but he'll hold that through, and so he might go chasing after Fernando Alonso behind. Then you got Lance Stroll ahead of the Alpha Tauri in a bit of a battle there, and then the rest of the grid is a bit strung out. Meanwhile, up at the sharp end there, Verstappen dominating this one, looking very, very comfortable. I guess he was absolutely grinning his face off when he saw behind Hamilton with the collision. Obviously, he needed that, remember? He had a DNF at Canada that saw Hamilton take a bit of a lead in the championship. Obviously, came back through at France, and so this will be massive for him and the Red Bull Racing team. Lap number 10, though, back to our POV. He has pit now. We're in P1. Perez in second. We're going to continue on to the end of this lap. The tyre wear is there, and also you may have seen on the bottom right, we're in lean mixture. We've been having to save fuel pretty much from the get-go. As soon as we overtook Perez, I noticed we're a minus 0.6 of fuel after, like, what was that, like 7 laps when I think lap 7 or 8 we overtook Perez. So yeah, as I said before many times, it really does baffle me how one car can burn so much fuel so quickly, yet be so slow in a straight line on the exit of corners sometimes. Because you saw, I mean, we only got Perez in the second DRS straight because he's facing tyre wear, but every time, consistently off this corner, turn 1, he was getting a great exit. We just didn't have the actual overall straight line speed to get him. And you can see here on the exit of the pit lane, screen. George Russell out-drags us in the Williams car and gets up into P4 at the moment. Flying high himself and Kimi Raikkonen in the Williams and Alfa Romeo respectively here. And so we actually have to battle a Williams car. So I think the game this series wanting to be balanced. You know, last time we had a bit of a crash down to reality, kind of a bit of a check there with the double DNF, and then it's the moments like these where we remember we are on a bit of a road to glory. You know, only a couple of races ago we were maybe racing these guys properly for some points here. Last season especially so, as we now finish the move on George, very close on the rear end there. That might just help Sergio Perez out, unfortunately, to close up a little bit quicker. But now we're going to get straight on the back of Kimi Raikkonen. So I'm sure Russell and Raikkonen are yet to pit in this one. So they don't have blue flags. They are full position, but they are very much going to be out of sync in terms of the tyre where they're facing. Maybe Raikkonen, though, continues on for another lap. Really parks it on the apex of the last corner. We get that usual screen freeze that we're so used to now on this channel with this last few months in this game. But we go sailing around the outside, very close on the exit. But we're into clean air, and now the job is trying to push ahead as much as we can to ensure we can maybe try and defend against Perez, because I definitely think Perez will close back up to us and make a move to get back into P2. But if we can try and build a gap right now, that will help us out, because it'll leave him less laps to work with essentially. But the issue is, you can see on the bottom right, we're on negative fuel. I'm having to lift and coast, change up gear a little bit quicker, go down to lean mixture even in the second sector. So that's also going to slow us down a lot. So my team not making it, you know, easy for me to defend this second place, but we're going to try our hardest, as you can see here. But as we look on through the wrecking order, I think that was a Haas ahead of Fernando Alonso, strange. You don't have his pit yet. Then you got Yuki Tsunoda ahead of an Aston Martin, and then again the similar sort of situation, the other AlphaTauri and Aston Martin. Sebastian Vettel this is, with a big dive down the inside of Pierre Gasly, looking pretty handy actually, but Gasly on the exit comes back at him. But behind these two is then Leclerc and Ricciardo. I don't know what's gone on with them. I don't know what's happened. As I said, you know, Ferrari, I mean, they get a bit of a nosebleed when they got one car up to the sharp end, so I think they've probably forgotten about poor Charles there. So I don't know what's happened. I mean, you remember the pit stop at Baku. They probably just gave Leclerc a pretty slow pit stop, so I don't know what's gone on, why he's fell behind two Astons and two AlphaTauris. We'll have to see how that ends up for him. But back to our race then, and Perez is on the way. We've tactically saved a bit more fuel than maybe we need, as we're now in the green. But look at the ERS there. We're getting to 1% as we enter the brake zone. We try to squeeze Perez, but he keeps his foot in on the right, to be fair to him. But we have a textbook switchback move there, and look at the traction for once. We're getting a beautiful little exit. Use a bit of ERS on the exit as well. DRS open, and then we stop deploying it because we're literally down to single figures every time we deploy it for only a couple of seconds. So really trying to save it out and eke it out for the crucial acceleration moments. And the same with the fuel. I'm trying to save a bit more fuel than we need in case we need to dip into the rich mix late on. But lap number 17, the second last lap, and again Perez through on the inside, and again we try to squeeze him, but he's really going for it. Fair play to Checo, but we're gonna get the DRS once again. So we're playing this Wily Old Fox kind of game here, where yeah, he can overtake us on one corner, but we've got DRS straight back on him. We're going to use this point to save some lean mixture. We make a really bold move to the left hand side, oh so close on the right front there to make a bit of contact, but no, we calculated absolutely perfectly, if I do say so myself. We're back up into P2 with one more lap to go. You can see in the top left though, Verstappen has absolutely dominated this one. 15 seconds up the road there, just showing maybe how slow we are, to be honest, and how much of a great job we've done holding up Sergio Perez this entire time, as we move through for one final bout maybe on those last two DRS straights. Perez through on the left hand side. We're going to stop deploying ERS. We're down to 9%. We're going to kind of keep it all for this one last whammy as we try and line up a good exit. We're going to have DRS there. We even go up into rich mix briefly, even though we have too much to use. And then there we are, deploying absolutely everything on this car. Big dive bomb down the inside. We lock up on the front right tire, oh so close on the left, but Perez, he doesn't have the confidence in the car. It's almost like he's just facing way too little tyre grip really, even on this stint on the medium tyres, and just can't pull it through, or doesn't have the confidence to to turn in on me there and block me off. And so we're back up into P2. So Max Verstappen, kudos to him. He's going to win 2 races in a row, I think that is, because I'm pretty sure he won France. And he's going to take the lead, a pretty damn nice lead in the championship then versus Lewis Hamilton. But we come through for an amazing P2. I think our 3rd podium of the season, maybe. I don't even know, but it's absolutely wonderful. And I've got to thank one man, Valtteri Bottas. Thank you very much. Not often people sing his praise, but I'm going to today. Thank you very much, Valtteri. Absolute gem of a driver, in my opinion. So maybe with the best possible way, the only other thing we could have done was win this Grand Prix. So we really have done the most we could have done to overturn that, 0-point scoring show from both of us. It was unfortunate that Leclerc lost a lot of pace in that second part of the Grand Prix. I don't actually know how he ended up in 8th, because he was at least just behind Alonso at least, in P5 there. And somehow Gasly, Lando Norris, Vettel, all 3 of those guys were outside the top 10 in the first part of the race. So there must have been some sort of strategy calamity. Like I said, I wouldn't put it past them having a bit of an issue at the pit stop like they have done a fair few times for us this season. So it meant that he went way down the order. So not as many points gained, but still a good haul for us. 18 there. That'll help us out in the Drivers' Championship. But obviously the one we care about is the Constructors. And that still will definitely help us versus our main rivals. Verstappen will take a nice cushion lead in the championship, in the drivers that is, versus Hamilton, and we're going to climb up into P4 driving as Carlos Sainz. But like I said, in the Constructors, we climb back up into 3rd place, but it is actually genuinely a very tasty fight that's brewing here, as much as we joke around, this is turning into a really nice one. We got 72 points, but only a little bit back then, 61 McLaren, then it's very close from McLaren down to Alpine, 61, 59, 58. Absolutely mega. This midfield fight for P3 down to P6 might go down to the wire, which will be fantastic to see. If you guys did enjoy this one, a really, really great company. We don't often have really great stories like this in the Road to Glory, so you got to savor it. A really great, nice one. And once again, thank you very much, Mr. Bottas. If you did enjoy, hit the like button. Let me know your thought in the comments below. If you're new around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.